Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie Hurt, along with Lisa Booth, Nicole Sapphire, and Griff Jenkins. And welcome to the big weekend show. The big story tonight. Age may be just a number, but Biden's 81st birthday tomorrow has many in his own party and voters concerned about his mental and physical fitness ahead of 2024. Tonight, the Washington Post is out with a new expose about the panic within the party. And one of Obama's former top advisors is doubling down that Biden is in trouble ahead of 2024. Lucas Tomlinson is live at the White House with more. Lucas?
Well, Charlie, President Biden landed on the South Lawn here at the White House just a short time ago, and it's safe to say there's going to be no surprise 81st birthday party for him tonight here at the White House and when the clock strikes 12, and probably not tomorrow either, with all expected to be a low-key affair with all focus on the turkey part and maybe a shot of wild turkey for the staff. But here is what David Axelrod told the New York Times about President Biden. Quote, I think he has a 50-50 shot here, but no better than that, maybe a little worse. He thinks he can cheat nature here, and it's really risky. They've got a real problem if they're counting on Trump to win it for them. I remember Hillary doing that, too. Now, on Fox News Sunday, Senator Chris Coons responded to Axelrod.
That's an interesting point from David. In 2007, a year out from the 2008 election, I'll remind you that poll after poll was showing that Barack Obama was going to lose to Rudy Giuliani, and in 2011 that Barack Obama was going to lose to Mitt Romney. Head-to-head polls a year out, frankly, don't say much at all.
Now, a recent article in Politico by Jonathan Martin titled, Here's How Biden Can Turn It Around. Top Democrats agree that the president needs more aggressiveness, more help from his friends, and a few more friends. Liz Cheney, Rahm Emanuel, and Mitt Romney can help. Says the president has had issues with Axelrod in the past. The piece warns, quote, calling David Axelrod, a P word that I'm told I'm not supposed to say on news here. It rhymes with stick, Lisa. As a person who has heard Biden use the word, says he does in private, is not a strategy to win 270 electoral votes. Now, there's a new NBC poll out today, shows that at 80 years old, soon to be 81, by the way, tonight at the stroke of midnight, Biden not having the necessary mental and physical health to be president for a second term, 59% say that's a major concern. 15% say it's a moderate concern, whatever that means. 12% minor concern, and 14% say it's no real concern. And by the way, that poll also showed Biden with the lowest approval rating of his presidency, guys.
Well, you know, they've had 80 years to prepare for it. I hope it's a great party tonight, tomorrow. Thank you, Lucas.
Well, 81, I think, tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but he just starts his 81st year, so they've had only 80 years to prepare for it. Dr. Sapphire, explain this to us. I mean, at this kind of age, he's going to be 86 if he were to win another term and finish it. What are the problems? I mean, what could go wrong here?
Anything can go wrong with any single person any day of the week. But, I think congratulations are in order. Happy birthday, Mr. President. He doesn't look a day over 81. But that being said, age is just a number. That one poll that Lucas just mentioned, that's only one of the many where voters are saying they think that President Biden may be too old. There was another one where about 71% thought he was too old. But it would be one thing if it was just the number. But we see his performance, we see the gaffes, his forgetting, his calling out on people who aren't actually in the room. Then he also has some physical health issues. He has sleep apnea, progressive peripheral neuropathy, doesn't submit a cognitive mental exam. But again, so he's not the pillar of vitality by any stretch of the imagination. But I think a lot of voters could actually see past that if they actually were prosperous in their home, if their neighborhoods were safe, and if there wasn't chaos at the southern border. But one of the other polls also show that voters across all income levels say Biden politics have hurt them personally, where Trump's have actually helped them. So it's not just his age, it's not just his physical and mental performance, it's his policies too. So, the average age of retirement here in the United States is 64. Maybe it's time for the president to go to Delaware for permanent.
Can I just say something about that? It's such a good point. However, every politician can change any policy they want. Every politician can undo any gaffe they made, and Joe used to be known for gaffes. But you can't change your age, and you can't change mental decline. Right. And that's what he can't do and his staff can't.
It's hard to imagine it getting better from here at this point.
Well, I mean, you would like to think it couldn't get worse, but I mean, my
True.
God. But, I think that quote
Please don't dare anybody
I'm
to
sorry.
make it exactly.
I got
They'll
Lord
figure
help
out a way to
us.
make it worse.
They sure will. But that David Axelrod quote is something, though. I mean, talk about shots fired, saying that Joe Biden has a 50-50 chance of winning, maybe worse. And what's interesting is even though Obama picked Joe Biden as his VP, he's not had any confidence in him as a presidential candidate. I mean, there were reports that in 2016, he pushed him out of the way. Of course, he has that infamous quote, "Don't underestimate Joe Biden's ability to F things up." We've learned that lesson the hard way because it's all messed up. And he's probably looking at that New York Times poll showing Trump winning in 5 out of 6 swing states, now trailing with, black men, young voters, independent voters, the list goes on. However, my big concern and my caveat is that because Joe Biden is looking so weak, I'm worried about what they're going to try to do to Trump with all these court cases.
Yeah.
Are they going to ramp that up? Are they going to try to keep him in the courts throughout the general election, take up all his money so he's not spending it on winning an election?
Well, it already feels like they're doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one after the other.
It's hard, they're sort of emptying everything on him already. But Lisa, I want you to respond to this. This is a quote from, that they're having trouble when the Washington Post is talking about this stuff. The bad news is that everybody is wetting the bed inside of Biden world. It's really an unhappy confluence of Biden world donors, cocktail party friends saying, can you get him not to run? Which is stupid and absurd if you know Joe Biden.
Charlie, there's always depends.
Yes.
The bedwetting, especially at 81. So that would be my suggestion. But, look, it'll be interesting. They're running out a little bit of time to try to get Joe Biden out of the way. Clearly, I think that's the desire of the party. And then you've got the Kamala problem as the vice president, who is the most unpopular vice president in, I think, modern history. So then there's 2 people that you have to push out of the way. So I don't know, maybe they'll try to do some sort of tomfoolery at the contested convention or at the convention or something like that. But they're running out of time to try to get someone else in there.
But that would be difficult, though, because if you wait until the convention, and Charlie, this matters, you're going to miss all these deadlines to be on ballots. So you would absolutely significantly handicap whatever younger Democrat you were going to give an opportunity. And that's why Axelrod is so being outspoken, saying, do it now.
But Lisa makes a point. It's going to be very difficult because no, not the depends about Kamala Harris, because the only person who polls less favorable than Biden is Kamala Harris. So they have a big problem on their hands.
And obviously they have done this all-out effort with student loans and stuff like this to go after young voters. But this new NBC poll shows Biden losing to Trump by 4 points among voters 18 to 34. Listen to the freak out on NBC News.
Some real stunning highlights here in this poll.
Donald Trump, we have at 46%, Biden, 44%.
And this is significant because this is the first time in the history of our poll that former President Trump beats President Biden.
Is 50 points underwater with the youngest group of voters.
So, all the student loan forgiveness was for naught? It's not working out? He needs to find more money to give them?
Do we have more money?
Apparently not. And, the thing that's significant about this is, and we're talking about the age thing, it has to be incredibly frustrating for Joe Biden that Donald Trump is just 3 years younger and not suffering the same visual mental decline or even the aging process in the same way. And the court cases that Lisa brought up, really, if you paint the contrast on one side, Joe Biden, and I cover the White House, so I was just in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, I saw the fragility of him to come out to give a speech, and he's reading a prompter, and he goes, Trump's in Texas getting endorsed by Abbott. He's fired up on the border, which is a issue that's going to significantly hurt the Biden's administration because the border's a dumpster fire. But you've got a contrast of a guy that's fighting judges in multiple courtrooms. He's doing the big rallies still. He's out there in the border, and yet there's a clock ticking on how long his staff can protect him. And by the way, I want to make this point when I saw this topic. You've got 500 people writing a letter, signing a letter that their boss is doing the wrong thing on Israel? How about one staffer in this White House that sees what we see on the White House press corps? Stand up, sign your name to something, and say he's got to go.
But I just want to add real quick, complacency is the devil in politics, and we are so far out from the general election. So I don't want anyone to think that this thing, we've been burned in the past 3 election cycles, including the off-year election. Democrats completely appended the political process with mail-in voting during COVID. So it is a totally different ballgame. Historical norms are no longer relevant, so nobody get complacent.
And as you pointed out, Dr. Sapphire, at the end of the day, it is going to come down to these issues, I think, and people feel, how they feel personally about their own issues, especially economics. So,
hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.